My name is Evan Kendhammer, and this is my DSARI, or Do Something and Report It, audit. So I live in a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, and for the national average, the average 3-person house uses about 34 kilowatt hours per day, which means that if you multiply that by 30, that they use about 1,020 kilowatt hours per month. If you multiply that by 12, it is about 12,240 kilowatt hours per year on average. This is an image that I found interesting. It is the average energy usage in single-family homes based off of percentages. And I think it was noticeable that the space and water heating are the two biggest solo pieces on this. So my place, I live in a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. It is 2 stories and an unfinished basement. I live with 3 other people, 3 roommates, and unfortunately 1 cat. The items that I audited were a toaster, a lamp, a coffee maker, a printer, a mini fridge, a phone charger, a television, and an air fryer. Here is my weekly, hourly schedule for my appliances. Here's my data collected and calculated. So for my calculations, I use my mini fridge as my constant. It read 61.3 watts when it was plugged in, and obviously it read 0 seconds when it was off or unplugged. I use my phone charger as my variable. I plugged it in for 8 hours. It read 0.15 when I unplugged it. I calculated the average power by dividing the total kilowatt hours by the total hours that it was plugged in. The average total daily consumption was calculated by multiplying the average watts by the average on hours per day. And I use my lamp as my example. The wattage on the bulb was 8.8 watts. The average hours on was 4.3. My living room. I multiplied them together to get the total watt hours per day, which was just under 40 at 37.84. My findings. My highest energy consumer was my mini fridge at about 44 kilowatt hours per month. My highest total wattage devices, when they're being used, were my air fryer and my coffee maker, although they are short use. My printer is on way more than it needs to be at an average of 18.5 hours per day. And, excuse that, phantom loads in my instance were pretty small, although still present at 0.05 watts for my toaster and 0.09 watts for my coffee maker. Some comparisons. My mini fridge has a higher usage than a typical mini fridge. The average is about 20 kilowatt hours per month, and mine is about 44 kilowatt hours per month. I think this is probably because it is a bit of a larger mini fridge, as well as it is being opened and closed a lot, making it harder to regulate temperature. My devices only contribute about 14% of my house's total electricity use, but is about 18% of the average house. It would be about 24% of a typical 1-bedroom apartment's total energy use. Ways that we can save more energy in our house. Unplugging single-use appliances when they're not in use, even though my phantom loads were pretty small. They definitely would still make a difference if they were unplugged. Watch sports/Netflix on laptops versus on the TV. Maybe watch less TV. That would probably be beneficial for more ways than just electricity. Be more conscious about lights and when they are on. I'm sure my mom would appreciate this being in here. She was a big believer in this. But using more natural lighting and only having lights on that you need to use, not having the big overhead lights on in the living room when just the lamp would work. Only use the mini fridge when necessary. Our mini fridge is not always full, and there are definitely times when it does not need to be on. And obviously, only turn on the printer to use and probably print in larger batches versus periodically throughout the day. Thank you.